Good morning.
Good morning.
So today we're going to read a book. We're going to have a read aloud of a book called So You Want to Be President. Who in here has ever thought about being a president before? It's a big job. Almost everybody. Who in here would not like to be president? Can you tell me why? Dixie, why wouldn't you want to be president? Was something scary about it? Why not? It's a huge responsibility. Do you feel like that may be stressful? Yeah. Okay. Who else does not want to be president? Connor, you don't want to be president. What? Why not? Why not?
You have to make like all these
decisions.
Uh-huh. It's like it's all things in your mind that you have to do. It's crazy.
Yes. And do y'all notice now how when the president does something people don't like, he gets so beat up about it? I don't know if I would want to be in that hot seat either, because everything you do is judged by the whole country. Okay? Anybody else who doesn't want to be president? Carter, you? Yeah. I can't believe this. Why not? Why not?
I'd say no, because like it's a big responsibility to take care of take care of the White House and
right.
Everything that the United States have, making new laws.
Oh yeah. So I guess a lot of y'all feel like, well, a couple of you feel like it could stress you out. But when we read this book today, you're going to learn some things about some presidents that you probably would not read in your history book. And what I want you to really take away from this book is the fact that presidents are people. Duh, we know that. But presidents are just like Carter, and they're just like Connor and Dixie. They have some of the same characteristics that we have. They like some of the same things that we like. So although their job is stressful and they're very, very, very important, they're regular people. They have brothers and sisters. They have cousins. They have dogs. Okay? How many of you would want to be president one day or have ever thought about it? Can you tell me why? Amanda?
Because I
think it would be cool. Okay. I think it would be cool if you were president. What about you, Sandra? What would make you want to be president? What's something maybe you know about that would make you actually want this job?
I want to be president because you can make up new laws and it's fun to be able to talk in front of the whole country.
Okay, yes, because they do talk in front of a lot of people. Carl, I know you would just love to be president.
I do and I don't. I do and I don't.
Tell me why.
I do because I get to rule over the United States. And then I don't because the same thing that happened to Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. Some of our presidents have been assassinated, and that's not good. And some presidents have even gotten threats before, but luckily nowadays security is really, really tight. So Katie will take one more. Would you want to be president one day or not?
I do, for two reasons. Mm-hmm. One, I rule over the United States.
Yes, I know you would love that.
Yes, I would. And two, I get to live in a big White House.
In a big White House. And that house is so beautiful. If y'all thought the Capitol was nice, that's nothing compared to the White House.
I know.
The White House is like 100 times greater. Okay? So before we start reading this book, like I said, I want you to understand that these are some things we're going to learn that make presidents just everyday people. You could be president one day. You never know. But they're normal people. They're just like me and you. So the question that we have before reading is, what are the requirements to be a president? We're going to talk about some things that you think the president has to have in order to even be elected. Like, I had to have certain qualities and certain things to get this job as a teacher. Anybody can't be a teacher if they don't have what's required. So let's talk about what presidents have to have. What's something that you wrote down? Reagan, what do you think some requirements are?
People have to vote for you to be president, and if they vote for you, there's a lot of other people that want to be president.
Right. know that we have to get a lot of votes to be president because whoever gets the most votes pretty much wins. And did you say something about liking, people have to like you? I think that's a very important trait because if no one likes you, do you think they would want you to have control over their country? So you probably do have to be liked to be a people person. Madison, what do you think? What are the requirements, or what do you think are the requirements?
You have to have an education.
Have to have an education. So if I don't know anything, would I be a good candidate? No, you may have to be knowledgeable about certain things. Connor, what do you think that some of the requirements are?
You have to be fair.
You have to be fair. That would be a great quality in a president. Carla Lee.
You would have to be ready to make speeches and plan stuff.
Oh yeah, be ready to make speeches like Sandra said, talk in front of people. Aiden, what do you think some requirements are? Is there anything I have to be president?
Well, I put obey the laws you have before president, because if you do one thing that's against the law and you come back the next day, you'll be arrested. You won't be a president.
Oh, maybe if you got arrested, that would be the end of your term. Okay. Savannah?
You have to be responsible.
Be responsible. That's a good quality. Well, guess how many requirements there are to be a president? Guess how many? Raise your hands. Carl, how many requirements do you think there are?
I think there are 6.
6? Anybody think something different? Kaylee?
I think there's like 30.
Go ahead.
I would like to say 9 requirement.
Good.
I said you have to be 35 years old, and I said the youngest president was 43 years old.
Wow. Okay. Elijah, how many requirements do you think there really are? I like what you said, Kaylee.
I think there's like, the youngest is like 40 and the oldest is like 60.
All right. Well, the question is, how many requirements do you think there are?
Like
20. Do y'all think this is a long list of requirements? Because we're about to see it now before we start reading. Y'all think it's long or short?
Short. Long.
How many think long list? Short list. All right, Morgan, if you'll hit this Google Chrome, hit the little Google Chrome right here. You don't have to, just hit the Google Chrome. Right there. Hit that for me. There are actually 3 requirements. Yes. There's only 3 requirements to be president. How many?
3.
Now understand, these are going to be the minimal requirements. These are like the absolute bare minimum. The first, Kaylee, well no, that's not the first one, but Kaylee hit on the second one. First, you have to be a natural-born U.S. citizen. That means you have to be born here in the United States. You cannot, what happened, Morgan? All right, go back, please.
I didn't.
Just go back. Hit the back key up there.
Sorry.
All right, here, right here. And don't click anything after that, okay? That mouse is a little bit sensitive.
Yes.
All right, so if you'll scroll down. We recovered. It's okay. Scroll down. Right here. All right. So the first one, we said you have to be a natural-born U.S. citizen. You have to be born in the United States. Second, Kaylee gave us this one. Scroll down, Morgan. Second, you have to be at least 35 years old. You cannot be president at 25. You cannot be president at 18. You have to be at least
35 years old.
And Kaylee, I also heard you say this. The youngest president was 43 years old.
That's all on the screen. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, so number 3. Number 3 is the last minimal requirement. Number 3 is you have to have lived in the United States at least 14 years. If you haven't lived in the United States at least 14 years, you cannot be elected. All right, so obviously there's a lot more needed than this. I think Connor hit on this. The candidate must be acceptable to a large number of people across the nation. Nonetheless, these are minimal constitutional requirements for someone to be president. So that person has to be liked, okay? It has to be a people person. But the 3 bare minimum are being at least 35, born in the United States, and living in the United States for at least 14 years, okay? Before we get into our book, I'll take a few of these comments. Hannah.
I put the first thing I put was you have to be a U.S. citizen.
U.S. citizen, that's true. Landon?
Was Barack Obama born in the United States?
I think in Hawaii or something. I'm not sure. That may be one we have to look up. All right, Elijah?
They'll have to have a degree.
They need to have a degree. Okay. The next thing, and I'm not really sure if a degree is required because it's not listed here as the minimum, but maybe today that may be a good thing because I wouldn't want somebody without one to have control of the country. So before we read this book, we are going to talk about some vocabulary words that we're going to encounter. And they're not hard, but they are words that you may not know the meaning to. Morgan, if you'll show us that first vocabulary word. Right up there. All right. This first word is adversary. Everybody say adversary.
Adversary.
You're going to hear this word as I read the text. You're only going to hear it once. But an adversary is someone's opponent. An adversary is like my enemy, someone who is against me, my rival, okay? So you may hear it referred to as adversaries, and that's just plural. But this pretty much means that this is someone who's in competition with you. So if I were running for president, if I was the Democrat, the Republican would be my adversary. That's the person who's running against me, competing against me for this title. Okay? So is your adversary your friend?
No.
No, that person is working against you. Okay? Does everyone understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Macy?
What is the meaning of the devil?
That's just another meaning that it can have. We don't want to get into that one. All right, next word, Morgan. All right, this next word, does anyone know how to pronounce this? Say it for me.
Quip.
Quip. Okay? This word is a verb, and it means to make a witty remark. That means if I make a smart alecky remark, I can quip at you. It's not something you want to do to mama, is it?
No.
If someone quips, that means sometimes they may be sarcastic, they may be being a smart aleck. Okay, so if you quip, it's kind of being sarcastic or making a witty remark. Next word, Morgan, we have 3 words up there. All right, so the last word is thrifty. Without looking, does anyone already know what thrifty means? Nicholas, what does thrifty mean?
Wait, I thought you said how to, like...
No, without looking, I just want to know what thrifty means. Do you know what it means? Has anyone ever heard this word used? Not maybe. Carla Lee, what do you think it means?
Somebody who...
Don't look up here. Somebody who what?
I've heard it probably in a different meaning, but...
Does the word remind you of anything?
Someone
Three.
who shoplifts.
Someone who shoplifts. Does this word remind you of anything, Corbin?
I'm probably thinking because since it has like kind of like thrift in it, it like kind of makes me think of thrift shopping. So it's probably using money for other like resources.
Okay. Y'all are kind of close.
He just read that.
Y'all are kind of close. Thrifty actually is someone who doesn't like spending a lot of money. Someone who is thrifty likes to save money, and there are a lot of times like penny pinchers. So if I'm thrifty, that means I don't spend a lot of money. I wouldn't go into the mall and say, okay, I want one in orange, one in blue. Ooh, give me the yellow one, the red one, the brown one. I'll take the white one too. Just bag them all up. It doesn't matter how much it costs. That's somebody who spends a lot of money. Who would go into the store and get one color of every shirt. Or who would go into the store and spend $700 or so.
Whoa.
Okay? Thrifty means that you hold on to your money and you don't spend it wastefully. So it's a person who uses their resources carefully and not wastefully. Okay? So I'm going to write these on the board before we move to the floor. Savannah, did you have a comment?
Yes, sir. Mr. Krabs is thrifty.
Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob.
Yes.
Oh, you know that's my favorite cartoon.
Money.
He is very thrifty. And I like that you made that connection to my favorite cartoon.
He never
Alright,
wants
so
to
listen
say
up.
anything.
What do we do to say something, Aaron? We raise our hand. Go ahead and raise your hand. Is there something you want to add?
He never spends their money.
That's right. He never spends money. So we're going to read our book over here. I need the L to come walk and just find a seat. Find a seat quietly, please. Morgan, we're done, so you can come on. That's okay. I know my chairs are all in the way, but we want to move it so y'all have somewhere to sit. All right, if you're in the island, come walk quietly and find a seat. Jaden, I'm going to need you a little more over this way because I'm going to be reading right here, okay? Excuse me. All right, I'm going to bring our camera over here. All right, everyone ready? Jatavion, will you grab the book? The book is up here. All right, we are ready to get started. Jatavion, thank you for bringing the book. All right, I'm going to scoot the chair back just a little bit, my table back. Can everybody pretty much see if I sit right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, this book is called So You Want to Be President. And remember, when we started this lesson, I said I want you to take one thing from this book. That's that presidents are normal people. They're just like Amanda and Kaylee and Jatavion. They're normal people, and they like things that we like. They have pets. They do all kinds of stuff. So in this book, we're going to make some connections. We're going to read some interesting things about some presidents, and we're going to kind of make some connections to them. Because when you can make a connection to a book, it's almost like making the book easier to read, easier to understand. And when you make connections to characters, it's a lot easier for you to understand who you're reading about. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So the name of this book is So You Want to Be President by Judith St. George. There are good things about being president, and there are bad things about being president. One of the good things is that the president lived in a big white house called the White House. Ironic, big white house called the White House. Another good thing about being president is that the president has a swimming pool, a bowling alley, and a movie theater.
Awesome.
The president never has to take out garbage. The president doesn't have to eat yucky vegetables. As a boy, George Bush had to eat broccoli. When George Bush grew up, he became president. That was the end of the broccoli. Now, how does George look in this picture?
Happy.
He looks happy. Raise your hand and tell me, what is he so happy about? Who can tell me what he's so happy about? Study that picture. Connor, what do you think he might be so happy about?
It looks like he made a strike in the bowling.
It looks like he did what now? Made a strike? Good. Yeah, because I see here that he has knocked out all the pins. So he has made a strike. Maybe he's celebrating. Could have just won that game. Kaylee, what's another reason you think he might be happy?
Maybe that he just found out he doesn't have to eat vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Can you eat vegetables when you're president? Because I love vegetables.
You can still eat them, but as a boy, he hated veggies. So now that he has a lot of power, he just chooses not to. I would continue. If one of you became president, I would continue. All right, Savannah?
He's probably happy that he lives in a big White House and he has a bowling alley.
Yes. Can you imagine having a bowling alley, a movie theater, and a swimming pool? Some of you may have pools now, but a bowling alley and a movie theater?
I wish.
All right. One of the bad things about being president is that the president always has to be dressed up. William McKinley wore a frock coat vest, pinstripe trousers, stiff white shirt, black satin tie, gloves, a top hat, and a red carnation in his buttonhole every day. The president has to be polite to everyone. The president can't go anywhere alone. The president has lots of homework.
What?
Alright, so I'm just going to think out loud. If I had to be dressed up all the time, every day, I don't think I would want to be president.
I do.
I like dressing up for church on Sunday. I like dressing up for special events. But sometimes a girl's got to have her sweatpants. And a t-shirt. How many of you would still want to be president if you knew you had to dress up every day, no matter where you went? Do we see how on the previous page, George Bush is still in his suit playing this game of bowling? He's still wearing a suit. There's not that many of you that would still want to be president.
No.
All right, think of a time where you have to dress up, where your mom will make you dress up. And raise your hands. Sandra, when's the time that you have to dress up?
Easter.
Easter, that just passed.
But this Easter I didn't dress up. I just wore shorts and a shirt.
Okay. Morgan, can you think of a time where you had to dress up?
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes when I'm at a birthday party, that's like we don't really play and we just like sit around and talk and eat. I have to dress up.
So you have to dress up a little more. Amanda?
When back at church.
When you go to church. How many of you have to dress up for your church? I know some churches require it, some don't. Aiden?
I have to dress up everywhere I go. Father's house, CC's.
Really?
Everywhere.
Yeah, you always have a little button-up shirt on. It looks nice, too. All right. People get mad at the president. Someone once threw a cabbage at William Howard Taft. That didn't bother Taft. He quipped, "I see that one of my adversaries has lost his head." So first of all, I'm thinking, who travels with cabbage to throw at somebody? And then I'm thinking, well, if I got hit in the head with a cabbage, that may hurt. Okay? All right, so listen. Here's two of your words. Hold on, sweetheart. Here's two of your words. Quipped and adversary. I'm going to read it again so that you can hear it in a sentence, okay? He quipped, "I see that one of my adversaries has lost his head." So right now he's being really sarcastic. Someone threw a cabbage at him, and it didn't really bother him. He decided to be sarcastic about it, okay? And adversary, who can remember what that meant? One of my adversaries lost his head. Carter?
Your rival.
Your rival. So I think it would be funny if one of my rivals lost his head. Maybe not nice, but that would be a joke I would make too. Yes, honey?
So actually the cabbage does have a face.
Yeah, the cabbage does have a little face in it. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Actually, it actually is.
It has a little face in the cabbage just to make the illustrations fun. Okay? Alright, we're going to move to the next page. This book has a lot of pages in it. So I want y'all to understand that some of the pages I'll go through a little quickly, okay? Lots of people want to be president. If you want to be president, it might help if your name is James. 6 presidents were named James. President Carter liked to be called Jimmy. 4 Johns, 4 Williams. President Clinton liked to be called Bill. 2 Georges, 2 Andrews, and 2 Franklins all became presidents. Sit on your bottom, please. Aaron, calm down, sweetheart. What do you need to ask?
Actually, but if you look at the George Washington and the George Bush, they're actually in the same shirt. They're actually in this one shirt. Yeah, they actually are.
So when I read this page, I'm thinking, I know a lot of people that have the same name. I actually have 3 Madisons between your class and this class. We've got Madison Ivy, Madison Hicks, Madison Bergens. So if you're in 4th grade, it may help if your name was Madison. We also have a couple of Landons. We have Landon Tannum, and we have Landon McQueen. Can you think of anyone who has the same name as you, or anybody that has the same name as someone else? Hannah. Hannah McClurg and Hannah Hall. Aiden?
Aiden Hartman, and
Aiden Hartman and Aiden Thorne. Carter?
the president, Carter, or something.
Okay, there is a president with the last name Carter, Jimmy Carter. Carl?
Okay. My grandpa, and then there's a kid, I forgot what grade he's in, but he goes there, and his name's Carl Thomas.
His name's Carl Thomas, so that's 3 Carls, right? All right, we're going to move to the next page. And if y'all see these little Post-it notes in my book, that just means there's some things I want to point out and talk about, okay? You probably weren't born in a log cabin. That's too bad. People are crazy about log cabin presidents. They elected 8. William Harrison was born in a big Virginia mansion, though he won the election with a log cabin and hard cider slogan. Here's the picture. It shows you all those presidents who were born in log cabins. Savannah named 2 that were born in log cabins.
William
Here's someone's talking, sweetheart. This is your last warning, okay? All right.
William Harrison and Abraham.
William Harrison, Abraham Lincoln. Landon, can you name another on this page?
Zachary Taylor and Franklin Pierce.
Zachary Taylor, Franklin Pierce. Some of these names aren't even familiar to me. Sandra, do you see one? They got all their names.
Andrew Jackson and Miller. I can't say them.
Fillmore. Okay. So out of these 8, there was one that actually lived in a mansion, and that was William Harrison. If you want to be president, your size doesn't matter. Presidents come in all shapes and sizes. Corbin, are we paying attention, sweetheart? Okay, that's my warning to you, okay? Presidents come in all shapes and sizes. Abraham Lincoln was the tallest, 6 feet 4 inches. His stovepipe hat made him look even taller. James Madison was the smallest, 5 feet 4 inches, and only 100 pounds. Get ready for this one. William Howard Taft was the biggest, more than 300 pounds.
Whoa! He's like someone else.
He was so big that he had to have a special tub built in his White House bathroom. 4 men could fit in the tub. Maybe Taft's problem was that presidents can order any food they want. Andrew Johnson once served his guests turtle soup, oysters, fish, turkey, mutton chops, chicken, mushrooms, string beans,